right, and we're off. All right, so I've sent a message a little bit ago that I was reminded that we had our a meeting changed that I have to go to at 7, so we're going to do this until 6:45, and hopefully this helps. First, does anyone have any questions before I'm going to do a demonstration of drawing the interior, one-point interior with objects?
So, about the homework where we do the room,
Yeah,
not our room, but a room.
yes.
So are we to design the room ourselves? If we saw a room in a magazine that we really like, can we just do that, or would you prefer us to?
I would say that would be okay for you to see a photograph of an interior and use it as the basis. You don't necessarily
Yeah.
have to do it exactly as
Well, not to copy the photograph, but to
yeah.
copy the room. Let's put it that
You can
way.
use that. Yeah, I think that I think I'd suggested sketching out a floor plan. So, like, if you just say,
Okay.
if you just imagine it's one-point perspective, and so you are oriented. This is you looking into it, and you put some, and if, as far as a floor plan is concerned, a sketch floor plan can be pretty rudimentary for what's there, just so that it's understood what it is. Those are windows. Um, Something like that. And let's see, I want to do this. So I think sketching out a plan can help you think about just envision what it is you're doing. So I'm going to imagine this as a reception area. I think maybe I'll do like lamps, like corner, floor lamp in the corner. Maybe I should do a plant in the corner instead and move these guys off. A little bit more space. So yeah. So Danica, the short answer is yes. You can look at you can get your room layout from a photograph. And if I like put some interior plants in the corner here. Scribble there. So this is so just what I'm doing here, sketching out what I see here. Not sure. I want to just like side table, maybe do something asymmetric. Big circular table in the middle of them. Pile a bunch of like magazines, toys for children, what have you. right? So this, I don't, yeah, I guess we're using this drawing to practice imagining a perspective and then drawing it accurately in 1 point perspective. So I can keep that with me up here. And if as I'm drawing, I realize that there's just like something about it. I just realize like that actually it's not a great layout. I can change it in my perspective drawing. But here, as a just like a setup, I can start by drawing a horizon line. And if I decide I want to have like a 9-foot ceiling, starting with this back wall, I want to make sure I don't make the rectangular shape for the back wall too big, because if I say I'm going to be like, this is what's right in front of me, I don't necessarily, I think I'll move this over. Be a little bit off to the right. All right, so the height of it going through the horizon line, if I say it's 9 feet, horizon line should be like more than half of it should be below, because if the horizon line is 5 feet or 5'6", there will be less of the wall showing above the horizon line, more showing below it. This doesn't have to be perfect or exact. I don't expect you, actually I don't want you to take a scale and measure. This is all approximation. So from here, vanishing point, through each corner, I can come back and sharpen up my corners so I can be a little bit more precise. Like that's good. And you see, if I keep this back wall, that rectangle, relatively small, then I've got room for the space coming forward. If I make this nice big rectangle, then I won't have any walls or I won't have any walls or floor. And here's Elliot. Hello, little baby. Come here. Can you come back on the chair? Good. All right. He needs to be sitting behind me on the chair. All right. So here, as a way of getting this set up, what? He wants me to move. Excuse me. He wants more space. We'll watch that. So I want you to draw this freehand. Something that can be very easy to do is like when you're drawing is like just like moving your wrist and curving the line. So keep your wrist rigid and just move it straight so that you don't, because my initial line was like just kind of like that, kind of soft. And I'm sure it's because I moved my wrist. And you just draw it until you get it right. Yep, okay. And I can take this stuff out there. What? Oh my God. Elliot, quit moving. It's really distracting when I'm trying to do this. All right, there are my walls and floor and my ceiling. So if I look at this, there's a sofa sitting here. And this is it's a good opportunity for you to just spend a little time thinking of what's the space you're drawing and how are you laying it out. If I have like here's the back wall with like wall, window, wall, and there's a little console sitting in front of the wall there. Maybe I'll put some artwork there too. And like the window, I can see like the front of the sofa kind of lines up with the middle of the window. And do that. I might need to make this a little bit longer, I think. A little wider. Just because I sketched out this rectangle doesn't mean that it's the right dimensions of rectangle. Not to be better. Better. Because then I can actually have a little bit of space for my sofas. And this could be a little bit. So I'm all this time here I'm just trying to approximate scale on the floor here. There's going to be this big circular table. If I draw a big rectangle, let's see that this doesn't really line up. I think I might need to just make this wall a little bit there. Push this guy back a little bit. Okay. So the way I'm drawing right now is kind of the way I would draw like just about anything. Like if I were outside drawing landscape, if I were drawing like in a figure drawing class, or if I were drawing still life, I would work this way where I draw quickly and just I make my best guess. I draw, and if I'm wrong, hopefully I'm at least close. And if I'm almost as soon as I make a mark, I can see I can see if it's right or if it isn't right. And if it's not right, I can I very quickly correct it. Okay. It's approximately even. I'm a little over here. So yeah, this is good. I think with the table, so if I start with that table like a big square on the floor, if you draw diagonals across it, find the middle, and then from the vanishing point through the middle will give you the midpoint of those sides. Horizontal line through the center will give you the midpoint of these edges right and left. And then the circular table would only touch the edge of the square in the center. That's why you make those marks. And this is really just to get you to get some approximation of a circle in perspective according to these dimensions of the square. This is going to be a little bit higher. If it's a table that's fairly low, I think this is 18 back on the wall. I could go like there, up to the 18 and then out. be maybe my 18. So like there would be my circle is going to be somewhere in there. That's too wide. So this is kind of like you could draw it like it's a puck, some like short cylinder, and then you just get that right there. Box this in. And like here, I'm not even really using any like, I'm just approximating the scale of this based on the scale of the interior. You know, sort of like, this is the height of this. I think if I went over to the wall and then up the wall, and then if this is 5 feet, 3 feet would be somewhere like there. So 3 feet would come along the wall, intersect that, and then I could draw out. And if I want the height of the back to be 3 feet, I would go up to that. But maybe it's not 3 feet. Maybe it's 30. Maybe it's just like a different, different design and it's lower. Okay. So, does the process make sense?
Yeah.
Good. I have a lot of drawing experience, so I have I've done this before, but that so here's once I get the height on this side, I'll just bring it straight across. Just because I have drawing experience doesn't mean that I don't have to figure things out when I'm doing this. I mean, there are times when like I think I'm not really sure, and so what I learned, doing in the many drawing, really just like studio classes for art that I took, is that you can figure out a lot of things by working on them, and so it can be very useful if you're not sure how to draw something, to try to draw like you draw it sort of like as much as you can, and then see if you can figure out what it is is like missing and needs to be there. That can be tough. Okay. And I have a side table right here. It's going to be a little I'm just going to approximate the height as it's like not that tall, because I don't want it to be, I want it to be so it makes sense with the arm of the sofa, that it would be a little bit lower than the arm of the sofa. Maybe what I'll do, I'm going to put make this like a pedestal table. And I'm just going to use that center on the floor as the place I'm sketching in this base. Make sure it's a little bit wider, because a big tabletop like that needs to have a stable base, otherwise the table would get knocked over really easily. And I can take all this other stuff out to get that table. Go. There. Okay. I have plants. I'm gonna have to have like a. Also gonna have to have like a. Pardon my phone going off like that. If I go from the base of the table over to the base of the wall, up to the ceiling, back out, then from the base of the table I can just go straight up. If there's a pendant light, it comes from that location. So I know the position on the floor directly below the table. So you go over to the wall, up to the ceiling, back out, just this, making a rectangle. Then you can go straight up, and where they intersect, that's where that would connect. And I might just start by throwing in like a, this can hang lower if there's going to be a table there and you wouldn't have to worry about walking into it. This is a little off center. This needs to come over. Okay. We'll make some globy thing, and then, so I might even make some notes to look up. Pendant light, also known as a luminaire. Which is what the thing that holds the lighting element is a luminaire. Furniture. Yeah, then I guess maybe there's going to be some. Oh, there's going to be a table here. Good. So the light's closer, so I can, if I need to put some stuff on this little console table, I can just put a couple of small things on it that look logical in some way. But now I'm having fun with my light that I'm completely making up, and I can make it look sort of generic and interesting, but if I really want to see draw up more detail here, I'd have to have some specific design I'm applying. Okay, the windows, that goes around the corner like that. So there's the thickness of the wall. A little more foreshortened here. More slender right there. And this is leaning a bit. Apologies. Okay. Plant. Oh, so plants. That's a good. It's just like I put a couple of plants here in the back in the corner. So, and just that that sort of wiggly shape is kind of like a standard architectural graphic for an interior plant. Just leave it. Yeah, so I can, I've done this enough times. I can sketch an interior that looks plausible with no design details, because I can approximate what these things look like. But what I want to do before I get too much farther would be to look up specific furniture pieces and other furnishings that I'm planning on putting in here. That way, it's not going to end up looking too generic. I don't want you to just completely make this up and then have it turn into like something that has no real identity, which is kind of important for interior design, that the furnishings have some purpose and that they're chosen for their appearance and their qualities and their functional qualities as well as aesthetic qualities. And I mean, you choose things for a reason, so it's pretty good. But this, if you work quickly and just sketch something out loosely like this, then you can get it established. You can get the interior like layout established, and then come back in and apply details. You might even take like a piece of trace and put a piece of trace over this and redraw it, but don't trace all the sketchiness. You just like trace some of the other edges. I wouldn't want you to lose the sketch quality of it, though. I like this stuff. Okay, and I did have this the first time I taught this class at Harper. I had students doing this where they were sketching like this and then put a piece of tracing paper over on it and retrace it freehand, but clean it up. And then it didn't really look like a sketch. And one of the students said, "Well, our drawings don't really look like sketches anymore." And I'm like, "Yeah, you're right." So I think you could skip the sketch process, I suppose, or like the tracing is really counterproductive. Okay, exterior. The exteriors are can be challenging because you're so like you spend a lot of time thinking about the perspective of the interior. You might not spend a lot of time thinking about the exterior and its perspective, but if there were another building out here parallel to, let's say there's like something up here and it's parallel to the building that we're in, that would still use the same vanishing point because it's aligned with the one that we're in. Okay. Okay, so your eye level is here. You can have, in the distance, you could easily have buildings or trees or other features of landscape or cityscape that are higher than your horizon line, of course. There can be stuff up above your, up over your head. And in this case, maybe we're in a high rise. And so, if our eye level is up high, and we in this interior are up high, you can add some more. Well, hello. Oh yeah, not there. Hey, move your butt. Elliot, yeah. Like, let's not show everybody your butt. Hey, Yeah, I know, you're in the way. I know. Oh, man. Gotta be touching me all the time. And, oh, there you go, just right there. Good boy. Hey. Oh, look, it's a brush. Mr. Bush. There you go. There. Up there. More up there. There we go. This. And, you know, with the exterior, like, sometimes, like, you know, I think drawing an exterior like this could just be something that would take time before you know, time and experience before you have a sense for, like, how you do that. But, you know, keeping this, like, this building facade that's receding, keeping that in perspective is important. Lighten up a little bit so it doesn't compete. You know, I don't want it to compete with my interior too much. So I think that, you know, if I make the contrast kind of like lower out there, and then, like, you know, like a heavier line weight here. That could help separate interior from exterior. So, yeah, I think maybe that is like the line weight might be a good idea. Okay, though, I like that building. Draw a little bit with the eraser. Okay, this is starting to, you know, this space is starting to fill up. House plants, I would look at a house plant, but if, you know, like a big, like tall, like giant ficus has really big, a spike on the end. There's shiny leaves, and they're pretty sturdy plants. Other kinds of, like, in I had a plant, I forget the name of the plant. It's like got these stripes. It's not a spider plant. It's just like they're more. It's almost like aloe because these are really rigid leaves, and I had it for a long time before it got infested with some insects. Yeah, they got really tall and really dense, and actually a pretty cool interior plant. There, the way this is set up, you can't see the pot that the plant is in, so it might look a little bit strange over there in the corner. You know, as with anything, if you think, I want to put a plant in this interior, look it up. You very easily find, if you look up for like large interior house plants, you would find a lot of things. Here, I'm going to do my giant ficus. And the one I had was like, it was really big. It just, I don't really know anything about pruning a big house plant like this, so I just kind of let it go, and they get these long branches with these great big shiny leaves just kind of sticking out there. I just like throw in the edge of the pot that it's in so that I can, so it doesn't look like it's just growing out of the floor or the back of the sofa. Okay. Good. That's, yeah, this is all, I mean, even just that little bit that I put there starts to give you some idea of there being a plant. You know, just like some flat, like shading to some, like, you know, some hatching for shading to just show that there's, you know, a little bit of, there's some color, or just like there's something there. Okay. All right, dude, you're in the lake, man. You're determined to be an internet star. Okay. All right. So what do you think? Pretty good so far?
Yes.
So, you know, if I put a big bowl in there, I can also put a little, like, some reflectiveness. It's got fake fruit to torment hungry people. Okay. So this is starting to come together. I think I could get it to this point before, like, I would say for drawing details on this stuff, I would look at photos of furniture. And so, like, Donica, if you've got the photo of an interior, you know what your furniture is going to be. It would be nice if you could find out what the furniture is, like, you know, who the manufacturer is, so that, you know, I think anytime you use furniture for an interior, of course, if it's real, you know, whether it's for like a school project or an actual project, you need to be able to buy it. So if you make it up, just pull it out of your head. There is no source. There's no, I guess, you know, there's no place to get it. So, all right. And Elliot, you're goofing up the focus. Here, okay, so I think I'm going to stop there, and then we can let Elliot come here and be the star as we end. Hey. Okay. Any questions?
Have this and then another drawing of our interior.
Yep.
Correct. And then will we have another interior, just so I know which room of the home for next week?
If you look in the, well, if you look in Blackboard, you'll see, here, let me stop the share here. There is, in Blackboard, there's a folder for week 3, which we would get into this week in class, so that would tell you.
Okay.
I'll review that. So, you know, you could always go to a different, you can go to, I mean, I don't know if you can, but if you know, go to a different, like a cafe or something like that and draw that.
No, I mean, there's enough for me.
All right.
So.
All right. I'm going to see one last thing. Share my screen and show you giant ficus. Yeah, so mine was like this. On Etsy. Yeah, mine was like this, only like big and out of control. It was cool, but it just got, you know, it got to where like I kept repotting it, and then it kept growing, and then I just got to where it was taking up too much space. So I found someone with more space to take it. So I like the ficus because the leaves are nice and like big and clear, and they like, this is like the red sprout here, that's a leaf growing, and then it will unfurl and turn into one of these green leaves. So if you keep watering it and give it sun, and it'll just keep growing. Okay, that is going to be that. I'll see you on Wednesday. I'll have your drawings that you turned in last week graded and give them back to you on Wednesday. And just do your best. Stay in the spirit of freehand sketching, and you're getting your practice so that you just get better at this.
Thanks, Duffy. See
You're
you
welcome.
Wednesday.
See you Wednesday.
Thank you. Take care.
Bye.